Hello and welcome to another long ass video. If you don't like these long videos, by the way, a few suggestions for you. You could always double up the speed, play it at 2 times speed. I feel like these work pretty well at that speed. You could also use the chapters feature to go to the subjects that you're interested in and ignore the ones you're not. I also want to say that I listed very recently 4 of my paintings for sale on Etsy, and all 4 of them sold. And I'm very appreciative to anyone who bought one. 2 of them have already been shipped, and the remaining 2 are scheduled to be picked up tomorrow, and they will be shipped off as well. So thank you guys so much for doing that. I do have some more paintings. I will be listing them soon, sometime in the following week. And thank you guys so much for supporting me as an artist, because, you know, I love to create things, and painting is very cathartic. And I know I'm not the world's greatest painter, but I do try to express myself in that medium. And I want to thank you guys for supporting it, because it's very kind of you. And I hope that everyone who did buy a painting enjoys it. And I hope everyone that couldn't afford to buy a painting has the money to someday. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with today is this post here on the Deep Fat Fried subreddit. And I'm going to go through this, and we're going to respond to it. And the reason I'm not doing this on DFF, by the way, is just because when you got 3 people trying to talk, you know, it becomes more of a conversation. Things maybe go off in a different direction, you know, and the overall, like the opinion of the individual kind of gets muddled by the opinion of the overall conglomerate. So I wanted to respond to it first on my own. I will see if the guys are interested in also responding to it tomorrow, but I wanted to get my own thoughts out there unfiltered and without any sort of other, you know, without any sort of discussion back and forth, so I could just opine and bloviate. So DFF crew was in total denial about Trump's second term, banned fans who argued about Trump's fascism, and it's why I've tuned out of the live shows. Okay, so a couple of things to unpack there. Total denial? No, absolutely not. I mean, we all said Trump is going to be a disastrous president, as he was in his first term. We all said that he's, you know, a regressive imbecile, that he's losing his mind, that he has a vagina on his neck, you know, etc. I do not believe we ever banned anyone for simply arguing that Trump was a fascist. We've banned people who were rude about it, as some were. But if you simply went into our chat and said Trump is a fascist, no one was ever going to ban you for that. At least I didn't see that happen. I came to follow leftists, not centrists, whose ego is too wrapped up in I'm right than being accurate or honest. Well, when it comes to a prediction, no one can guarantee accuracy. A prediction, by its very nature, is impossible to be accurate about unless you just get lucky. But we were honest about our predictions. As for how I don't understand how it makes us centrists. I mean, my political positions are my political positions. If you want to characterize them as centrist, fine. But simply, in your opinion, downplaying what Trump was going to do in his second term, I don't really see how that qualifies as centrist in nature. And I think we always made it clear that we do think Trump has fascist ambitions. We do think he's an authoritarian. But also that, you know, there are checks and balances that are supposed to keep him in line. Now, those checks and balances seem to have roundly failed, but that's not altogether surprising for reasons I'm about to list in just a moment. But let's continue reading your post. You say, so when is DFF going to do a mea culpa for berating / blocking their paying leftist audience for claiming a fascist takeover was looming, or it is just another typical Republican presidency, like Paul had been trying to push, etc.? So, let's talk about this line here, just another typical Republican presidency. So let's go back to the presidency of George W. Bush. George W. Bush was elected about 1 year into his presidency. he used 9/11 as a pretext to strip us of our civil liberties, to do extraordinary rendition, to send people to Guantanamo Bay, to lead us into a war in Iraq under false pretenses, an occupation in Afghanistan that only ended a few years ago. So yeah, I mean, George W. Bush was a terrible fucking president. And so when we say just another typical Republican presidency, I mean, once again, Trump gets elected about a year into his term. You have the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and that was used as a pretext for, once again, shredding our civil liberties. He hasn't led us into a war yet, but it looks like something is probably brewing in Venezuela. So, yeah, I mean, this is pretty typical Republican behavior, unfortunately. We do have a party in the form of the Republican Party that does seem to have deeply fascistic, authoritarian tendencies. And in the Democrats, we have, pretty much a lighter version of the same, if we're going to be honest. I mean, let's talk about the issue of Israel, where, this genocide began under Biden's presidency. And, they had every chance, the Biden administration did, to change course on Israel, to listen to the voters, to listen to the Democratic Party base that was telling them over and over again in no uncertain terms, stop funding this atrocity. Stop funding this massacre in Israel. And again, they did not listen. Even when you had states like Michigan with significant Muslim populations that were in play, even knowing that their stance on Israel could cost them the votes of left-leaning Democrats and, leftists who, vote lesser of two evil, they had every chance to do something to get those people back on their side. I mean, and even just forget about ethics, forget about morality, forget about humanism for a second. Even just in terms of the political, the administration, the Biden administration, could have gone to Israel and said, listen, you need to stop what you're doing because you are harming our election chances. And if you do not stop what you're doing, we are going to stop funding you. We are going to stop selling you weapons. We're going to stop sending you money until you back off of this. That would have just been good politics. Setting aside ethics, setting aside bloodshed, setting aside concern for human life. The Democrats were not smart enough to do that. And now you have the Trump administration claiming that they have brought peace to this region. Of course, by the time the Trump administration did that, Gaza is basically, just a smoldering heap of scrap. I mean, there's almost no infrastructure to speak of left. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. Trump did, in fact, participate in the brokerage of a peace deal. And, I guess he can have some credit for that. But shouldn't that have been something the Democrats got to boast? Shouldn't that have been something they got to say, hey, look what we accomplished? Look what we stopped. And they could have stopped it before Gaza was destroyed. And before that sunk their chances of winning the 2024 election. But they didn't. But to be fair to you, let's read a little bit more. We'll get to the relevant bits here. The denial they upheld on Trump while every institution around us screamed about how things were going to be really fucked. This is why I stopped tuning into the show as much. They can't admit they're wrong, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. So listen, where are you right? Because I've told you where you're wrong. But where are you right? I'll tell you where you're right. You're right in that I don't think anybody on our show, Deep Fat Fried, Onion Nuggets, whatever, I don't think anybody on our show predicted that so much of the destruction of our civil liberties, so much of the tearing down of our institutions, so much of the defunding of, medical, Medicare and, education and foreign aid and all these other things. I don't think any of us predicted that all of that stuff would be so aggressively attacked in Trump's very first year in office. I don't think that any of us saw that there was going to be military boots on the ground in American cities. So Trump has been worse than we predicted he would be. Now, none of that is to say that we didn't think Trump was going to be bad. We knew Trump was going to be bad. Did we think he was going to be this bad? No, absolutely not. And we've said as much on the show. So, mea culpa on that? Sure, I'll give you one. My predictions, which I based on a few things, were wrong. And I'll tell you the things I based my predictions on. The first thing I based my predictions on was Trump's first term. Because everything that he said he was going to do in his first term, very little of it was accomplished. He said he was going to do these massive deportations back then, and that did not really happen. He said he was going to do all this anti-trans stuff then, and some of it happened, but it did not happen to nearly the extent that he claimed it was going to. He said he was going to use the Insurrection Act. And he still hasn't done that now, but he's basically done the worst parts of it, even if he hasn't specifically called for it in sending troops into our cities. So, part of it was based on that. Trump being pretty much full of hot air his first term. Another thing is, we looked at Project 2025, and it was a lot of horrible stuff. But these have the things in Project 2025 were just, it was a laundry list of things that we'd heard Republican administrations call for since the Reagan administration, and probably before, but at least since then. And so, usually they get into power, and maybe they do one or two tokenistic evil things to please their base, and then they kind of rest on their laurels. And that's kind of what we expected Trump to do. Were we correct about that? In my opinion, we were not. In my opinion, we were incorrect. Trump has done far more than I personally thought he was going to do. And so, mea culpa on that much. I don't know if that pleases you. I don't know if there's too many caveats for your taste, but that's what I will say to you. So yes, our predictions, in my opinion, looking back on that particular topic, were incorrect. Now, am I going to apologize for that? No, because I don't have a crystal ball. I do have a crystal ball, but it doesn't show me all. Although I will say, I've been saying on this channel since October of last year that we are entering the age of chaos. We are entering an age of post-truth. And, this is kind of what I was talking about. So on another level, I kind of did predict this stuff. But, I'm not going to lie and try to spin it like I knew Trump was going to be this level of demon. Trump is like a level 7 demon, and I thought he was going to be more like a level 5 demon. That's what I'll give you. Is that enough? I don't know. But that's what you get. From me, anyway. Maybe Scotty or Paul will give you a bigger mea culpa than that. Probably not, but who knows? But that's what I think about that. Thank you for making your opinion known. And I appreciate you challenging on this. So what's next on the old agenda? Let's find out. Oh, yeah, of course, this. So, we will be doing a meetup in New Jersey on November 1st. It's already October 13th, so this is approaching fast. This right here, it's not too far away anymore. I have been told that we have sold, I think, 180 tickets for this event. This is a small venue, so I don't think there's too many more tickets left to be sold. So get yours while you can. The link will be down below. You can see our live show, and you can meet all of us. You can get drunk with us. You can enjoy musical guest The God Bombs. You can enjoy the MC stylings of our good friend Goat versus Fish. You can watch my stand-up routine. You can watch the Scorpion do his audience participation segment. You can watch Paul Zigo with his very special segment that is yet to be revealed, but you'll find out. A very special show coming your way on November 1st, live in the beautiful, beautiful city of New Jersey. I do want to let you guys know, do not buy your tickets from anywhere but the official link. I have been informed by the venue that they have been having problems lately with scammers buying tickets and then reselling them and then canceling them. So there is do not buy tickets from anywhere other than the official sources listed here on this website in the link down below. Because if you do, you may just end up with a ticket that is not worth shit, that will not get you into the event. Do not buy them on, secondary markets whatsoever. Buy them here. Okay? Because if you buy them in a secondary market, you are rolling the dice. You might show up to the front of the venue and find out you do not have a ticket. So be very careful with that. Just do not buy from secondary sources. Buy from the main source. Okay. Let's now enter the section of the show that I like to call Twitter Trash. We got a lot of Twitter trash for you today. And this will probably make up the majority of what we talk about today. Let's do it. So, this first piece of Twitter trash that we're going to be putting your way here is from an account called, I think that says Blondies. I'm not exactly sure. But this is from a right-wing account who says, this is who New York mayor candidate Zoran Mamdani really is. And then that is followed by an angry emoji. Wake up, America. So let's take a look at this clip and see what kind of demon we're dealing with here.
How many more New Yorkers not charged? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan? How many more New Yorkers will be charged for that target?
So, is this supposed to make me not like this guy? Is that what's supposed to be going on here? Am I supposed to be really upset that he yelled at Tom Homan? Is that the outrage? Like, how dare you yell at poor, innocent, powerless, vulnerable Tom Homan? Because that's not the way I feel. Also, listen to what he's yelling. He's like yelling, do you believe in the First Amendment? Remember when you guys on the right used to pretend to like that thing? Remember when you guys used to pretend that you cared about freedom of speech? Those were fun times, don't you think? I think they were fun times. I think it was cute how you used to pretend to give a shit about the First Amendment, and now here you are being outraged that a guy would dare, stand up for the First Amendment. I don't know. That's kind of weird. But, hey, I guess when it comes to freedom of speech, a lot of times people who are powerless champion freedom of speech, and people who are in power downplay freedom of speech. So when the right was not in power, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. And now that they're not in power, fuck freedom of speech. Or now that they are in power, they're like, fuck freedom of speech. We don't care about that, actually. We only cared about that when we were the ones who needed its protections. Now that you guys need its protections, oops. We don't want to play with free speech anymore. Get that shit out of here. What fun. All right. So this is a very popular Twitter account, this Grums guy. He posted back in July, Battlefield 6, not one woke trope in sight. Gaming is healing. But I guess he was wrong. He said, they got me. They fucking hit it. All the marketing buried this stuff. Sneaky. Players are complaining about gender-locked characters and how audio is full of women screaming during firefights. You are forced into being female or for some roles. Man, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that. I hope that I hope you're all right, man. I just can't fathom this level of fucking crybaby shit. I really can't, because like, you know, there are female combat officers, right? You know, that's like a real thing that actually exists in real life. It's also weird that you're like so butthurt about like having to be a female character in some scenes in the game. Like, do you think that they're like digitally trying to feminize you or something? Like they're making you trans by playing a female character for some missions? I don't get it. But whatever, man. I'm sorry they did that to you. I'm sorry they tricked you. Anyway, what's our good old buddy Matt Walsh up to? Matt Walsh says it's a greater crime in the U.S. to say the N-word to a black person than to kill a white person. Okay, well, let's find out.
The mob that tried unsuccessfully to cancel Shiloh Hendricks was far, far more outraged over Shiloh saying the N-word than they were over Carmelo Anthony stabbing somebody to death. Indeed, many of them actively supported Carmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf. They rewarded him financially for it. And this is all part of the preposterous racial double standard that has defined American culture for generations now. It is a double standard that declares it a greater crime for a white person to say a word than for a black person to kill a white person. In fact, killing a white person could even be a just punishment for saying that word, according to these standards. The rules surrounding this word, the moral weight granted to it, the arbitrary guidelines drawn around it, it's all nonsense. It's all indefensible on both moral and intellectual grounds. People are fed up with it. The mob.
Yeah. Okay. So, just to recap something for you. The punishment for a black person killing a white person is prison time. Might even be execution. Because that is what is known as homicide. And that is against the law. The punishment for a white person saying the N-word is nothing, because that is not against the law. The Supreme Court has ruled numerous times that there is no hate speech exception to free speech. And the courts have ruled that even when they're stacked with liberal justices. So this is not even an issue that has been particularly partisan in the courts. The right to engage in so-called hate speech is enshrined in the Constitution in the First Amendment. There is no law that prevents anybody from saying the N-word. Now, there may be social consequences to saying the N-word, But in the case of Shiloh Hendricks, the woman you just brought up, there were no social consequences. She actually made out like a bandit for saying the N-word, and she was saying it to a child. So she saw a little black boy and said, called him the N-word, and instead of being canceled, she was rewarded. So I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about because, the standard you're referencing just doesn't seem to exist. I mean, it's just total nonsense. So yeah, that's basically that. What else we got? We got Benny Johnson, baby. I guess this guy's gotten pretty popular on the right lately. Good old Benny Johnson. What is he going to say here? He's going to tell us about Palestine. Let's hear about Palestine from Benny Johnson.
So for years now, hideous left-wing orcs with bullhorns have been taking over college.
Hey. I may be hideous, and I may be an orc, and I may have a bullhorn, but... Okay, actually, that was fair.
Campuses, marching and rioting.
Whoa. I have never marched. I don't march. I don't do that kind of cardio.
In our streets, saying they want peace in the Middle East and to free Palestine.
Okay, yep. I don't know why wanting peace and, to end a genocide, I don't know why all that stuff makes you some kind of horrible orc demon monster, but yeah. That'd be nice.
And President Trump has now freed Palestine.
So it worked? So we did it? Awesome. Good to know. I guess we should fucking get our orc asses out there with even bigger bullhorns next time, huh? Because apparently it worked out for us.
So where are these protesters?
I'm one, I guess, I didn't go out in the streets and protest, but I protested here on my channel from the comfort of my own home. So here's one.
In their filthy kiffas.
Oh, I need to get a filthy kifa. That reminds me. I'm going to put that on my Amazon wish list here. Get me one of those. Yes. Yeah, I got to put that in there. I need a filthy kifa.
Holding up signs of President Trump saying this is our dear leader. Where the hell are you? Where'd you go?
Wait, we're supposed to hold up signs of President Trump and say this is our dear leader? Why do we have to do that?
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
Did your bullhorns run out of batteries?
No, let me check. I don't know. Hold on. See here. Ugh. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Testing. No. Oh shit. No. It seems like its batteries are okay. I mean, it might need a battery change, but not quite yet. So yeah, I think we're good on that.
Where are you like camping out to thank President Trump when he lands back at the airport for ending the war? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I guess. I mean, I wasn't really planning on doing that, but maybe I should. I don't know. You tell me.
This is what you wanted, right? You wanted the end of the war. You wanted you wanted Gaza to go back to the Palestinian people.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Trump just delivered that.
Did he? I mean, I know he stopped the violence, but like, did he usher in a 2-state solution? Like, Palestine is now free? Palestine is now its own independent nation? Is that part of the deal? Did I miss that? Hold up. Give me a second here. Okay. No. No, he didn't do that. No, he didn't actually do that. Sorry. No, he didn't do that part. He stopped, at least for now, Israel bombing the shit out of Palestine. So that's good. Good for him. Credit where credit's due, but he didn't do what you're saying he did.
And he did it with the backing of Israel and all the Arab nations together.
Good.
And the people in Gaza are celebrating.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'd be celebrating too if one day I was being bombed and the next day I wasn't. That makes sense.
Well, so where the hell are you?
I'm right
Stuck
here.
in your little tent in Colombia?
No, I'm just in my room.
Did your balls fall off?
Let me check. No. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, they're all there.
Probably, actually, as a prerequisite to being part of these protests. But, nonetheless,
So I'm confused. Because apparently you say our protests are ridiculous and we're stupid for ever wanting this stuff, but then also Trump is awesome for doing this stuff. Like, you can't have it both ways, right? Like, if our protests to stop the genocide in Gaza were stupid and ridiculous, then surely Trump actually delivering that on that piece is also stupid and ridiculous. So why aren't you hating on Trump? I think that's the real question.
I mean, be intellectually consistent for once in your miserable lives.
All right, I'll try. Give me a chance. I'll give it a shot. All right, what do I got to do?
Can you just, give the guy a W?
Yes. I give Trump a W. For being part of brokering a ceasefire peace deal between Hamas and Israel, I will give Trump a W. Are you satisfied? Are we good?
Didn't he just give you what you want?
I mean, some of it, yeah, a little bit. I mean, not him single-handedly, but yeah, he was part of giving me some of what I want on that issue. There's also other issues that exist where Trump is giving me quite the opposite of what I want. So it's not like I'm going to give him a W overall as president, but I will say that yes, on this particular issue, I will give him a W. Not a complete W, not a full W, because that would be to whatever president brokers a two-state solution or even just a one-state solution where Israel, accepts Palestinians as full-fledged citizens of their country. That'd be cool too. Something like that. When a president does that, I will give them the big W, but I'll give Trump a little W for his part in brokering this peace deal.
You've been frothing at the mouth.
No.
Behaving like domestic terrorists for...
No, I'm have I done any domestic terrorism, actually? Well, there was... No. No, I don't think so.
last couple of years in our country because of this conflict. And Trump just delivered to you, I think, generally everything you want. And now...
I mean, no, not everything I want. He didn't usher in statehood for Palestine or, integration of Palestinians into Israeli society. Either of those would be acceptable to me. But yeah, I mean, he got Israel to stop mass murdering for a little while, and that's always good. So yeah, little W. I'm giving it to him. Yeah, I do know.
Cat's got your tongue, right?
No, I've got it.
Nothing. It's nothing. You can't say nothing.
I can't say nothing? So that means I can say something. That's a double negative.
I say nothing.
Uh-huh.
They're such frauds, man. They're such frauds.
Fucking frauds,
Don't believe these people. Don't listen to these people. President Trump's president of peace.
No. He's the president of maybe getting some peace in the Middle East, which is good. once again, not taken away from him, but at the same time he's doing that, he's sending troops into American cities to beat the shit out of Americans for exercising their right to protest. So no, he's not really the president of peace. He's a piece of shit. Maybe that's what you mean.
He deserves to be celebrated. The people who are
No,
honest.
I'm not celebrating him. I'll give him that little W. That's all he gets.
Can you believe this? Hillary Clinton is out praising Trump.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course she is. He's praised her too. Hillary Clinton and Trump. I mean, like, do you really still believe the narrative that Hillary Clinton and Trump are fucking enemies? Like, are you really still that silly?
Today, man, what a world.
Yeah, what a world.
Of peace.
Yeah, peace of shit. All right, cool. Thanks, Benny. Appreciate you putting forth your opinions there. All right, so this is another gaming take we got here. If Ghost of Yotai made Atsu look like this, the game would have sold 1 million copies by now. And they have 2 pictures here. Designed with gamers in mind, and the main character, Atsu, I guess, is now... Her Asianic features have been all but completely removed from her face. Her tits are now the size of, they're not quite the size of watermelons, but, they're getting there. And, all of the wrinkles have pretty much been removed from her clothing. I guess her tits strain the clothing too much for any wrinkles to exist in them. And then designed with activists in mind. And then they have, her... just, I guess, how she probably looks in the game. So, cool, interesting, yes. So here's my thing, all right? And I'm not going to take, like, the super lefty, politically correct opinion on this, but nor am I going to take your side. I am going to, on this issue, actually take the centrist take. And the centrist take is this. You guys, when there have been games where, like, oh, we're going to make a Viking game, but there's going to be a black guy in it. We're going to make a samurai game, but there's going to be a black guy in it. You guys are like, oh, what about historical fucking accuracy? What about historical goddamn accuracy? We demand historical accuracy in games. Okay. But then, when it comes to this game, all of a sudden, you don't want historical accuracy because, let me remind you of something. Big fake silicone tits and modern cosmetics did not exist in this era of Japan. They just did not. So, what do you want? Do you want fantasy or do you want authenticity? Do you want... some idealized hyper reality, or do you want a reflection of actual reality? I don't know. Just make up your mind on that, because, it seems like you selectively want authenticity in some places and then not in others. And I would be absolutely fine with, look, if a game wants to feature a big-titted thirst trap protagonist, I am the last guy to complain about that. But if a game wants to go a more realistic route and more grounded with their character design, I'm also fine with that. So settle on down, bucko. I'm sure you can get your goon sesh done somewhere else. What's this? So this is a Nick Fuentes clip. I guess in here he says something about Hitler or something. So let's find out what he say.
American interest and say that, when you say it's bad to say Hitler had aura, I disagree in a sense.
I'm not saying necessarily it's bad to say that. I'm saying that you understand that, like, that is going to be something that might make a lot of people go, oh yeah, I don't want to deal with that guy.
But here's where I would push back in a sense is, as a white person,
I'm confused about something. How come everything is so in a sense and it's like Hitler, when people say Hitler didn't, it's bad to say Hitler had aura, I disagree in a sense. I mean, why does everything got to be caveated to this in a sense shit? If you're going to be a controversial figure, just say the goddamn controversial thing and quit fucking backpedaling with this, oh, well, in a sense, though. But in a sense. Fuck in a sense. Just fucking say the shit you're going to say. Don't say it in a sense. Because then it just seems like you're fucking trying to hedge your bets. Don't hedge your bets. Be a man. Say the shit you gonna say, bitch. That's just how I feel.
Like, why is it that the Holocaust is so toxic? It's because, Jews sort of made it that way.
No, I think the Holocaust is probably toxic because of the millions of people that died. I think that, events where millions of people died tend to carry a little bit of a toxic air, It's not just the Holocaust that carries that air. Like, there's a reason why every time international tensions start to heat up, people start saying, oh shit, is this going to be World War III? It's because we don't want World War III, because World War II was an event where millions of people died, right? So any event where millions of people died, people tend to not like those events because, people are people, and they realize that when millions of people die, they stand a good chance of being one of those people.
Like, we don't look at the Holodomor the same way. We don't look at China. And all these arguments.
I think that's a totally legitimate argument. It's something I've been saying for years, too. I think.
Well, those are a little bit more far removed from us. But, if you went to people and educated them about, hey, what about this Chinese massacre, Or what about, what about the rape of Nanking and shit by Japan in China? What about that kind of stuff? A lot of people might not be as educated on that stuff as they are on the Holocaust, but if they were, they'd probably also say, oh, that's fucked up. I don't agree with that. I don't like that. I don't like atrocities. I don't like mass fucking genocidal murder.
The idea that Jews have a monopoly on World War II is like insane.
Well, yeah, that idea is insane because nobody fucking thinks that. Nobody thinks Jews have a monopoly on World War II. That's what? Who? Where are you even getting that? Where is that even coming from, man? I mean, it's just a little wild.
And right. or that anybody should, prioritize past Jewish suffering over other sufferings. I mean, it's a horror.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I agree, I guess. But, what is the context of this discussion? I mean, maybe if I'd seen prior to this what was being discussed, but I'm struggling to think of an area where that statement, while I don't disagree with it on the face of it, how is it applicable? To what is that applicable?
Horrible thing happened, but
can I just
sure, go ahead.
So, when I say Hitler had aura, I'm trying to basically set a new paradigm where, it's like as Americans and moreover as white people, it's like that doesn't have the same impact on us emotionally. It not necessarily. We only feel like that way because of movies, because of museums, because of propagandizing, and
no. I think most people feel that way because of the atrocities Hitler was responsible for. I don't think that I don't think it's through propaganda. I think that actually Hitler's image has been strongly rehabilitated in this country through propaganda. But I'm pretty sure that propaganda didn't really have much to do with us not liking Hitler in the first place. It's probably because of all the atrocities he did and because we fucking fought a world war against him. Those kind of things. I mean, it's just our history. The United States of America went to war against Hitler. So, I don't know. That seems like a pretty natural fit for we don't like Hitler here. But, thanks to people like you and others who have been working hard to rehabilitate the image of Hitler, a lot of Americans these days don't feel as much enmity towards Hitler as they once did.
So when I look at Larry Fink, Bill Ackman, David and Larry Ellison, I look at them as part of a corporate entity. They're not individuals that happen to be Jewish. They are the Jews. They're organized. They work together. And as an American, I basically want to take power from them and give it back to Americans. And that necessarily is going to make them weaker and more vulnerable as a community. And, you know, so when they say that's anti-Semitic, it's like, of course, everything that's taking power from them to give it to us is going to inherently like bolster the narrative that they're becoming more vulnerable. But it's a necessary part of getting power.
Yeah,
and
I kind of get
what you said. I love that little differentiation he's trying to make there. Like, well, you know, I'm not talking about people who happen to be Jewish. I'm talking about the Jews, you see. There's some distinctions that need to be made. Okay. I mean, it seems like a weird hair to split, but whatever, man. I also love this idea that he's going to take power from the Jews and give it to, I guess, white people. Not really sure how that works, but I guess we'll see how it all turns out. Because, you know, things are moving fast now, as you guys may or may not have noticed. And now we're going to look at a clip from Asmond Gold. I think I added a D there. I think he's just Asmond Gold. But I like it with a D. Asmond Gold, I'm going to say. I think it sounds better. Rolls off the tongue a little better. Asmond Gold. Anyway, what's he going to say? I haven't actually watched this clip, so let's take a look. What he gonna do?
But no, that's the reason why people don't like me. The reason why leftists don't like me is because I actually live my life according to a lot of left-wing values.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That holds up. That holds up to scrutiny. What?
I am colorblind. If you look at my friend group, they are massively multiracial, multicultural.
Yeah, some of them are rats, some of them are roaches, some of them are just the flies that I attract in my hovel, you know. Multiple races.
If you look at my lifestyle, I actually embody the values of a person who is a socialist. And I do all the...
Okay, how? I mean, I don't know how I would even... How would I look at your lifestyle in the first place? Like, I don't know. Every time I've ever seen you, you've just been sitting there talking to a microphone like I'm doing right now. This doesn't really tell anybody about our lifestyles when we're not sitting in this chair talking to a camera. So I'm not really sure what the fuck you're talking about right now.
These things, not for any form of self-aggrandizement, not for any sort of popularity, but simply because I feel like it.
Okay.
Because it's what's normal to me. And that's why they hate me.
I really don't know why people hate you, because honestly, 99% of the time when I see Asmongold appear in like a discussion, I'm like, who cares? So I'm not really sure why people hate you, but I'm pretty willing to bet that it's not because you're such a post-racial dude who lives such an embodied socialist philosophy. I very severely doubt that's the reason, but I don't really know. So maybe you're right, buddy.
And that's the main reason. And Caller, yeah, I guess so. How has been banned for the longest here? Who holds that title? I don't know, man. You don't play WoW in colorblind mode? No, I don't. I probably should though. Maybe at that point I'll be able to see things. You don't live your life based on a life? No, I just do what I feel like doing. That's it. Female character does, but no.
Okay, cool stuff. I guess that's why I learned something new today. I learned something new. That's why people don't like Asmongold, because the left hates him because he's too left, I guess. This chick, yeah. Remember this girl? The right does. We still haven't forgotten about you. Yeah, this girl was stabbed on a train. I believe her name is Arena Batsuk, something like that. I don't remember her fucking name, to be honest with you. But anyway, I think I've had about enough of this. I don't really want to see this picture no more. And it's not because, like, oh, of course, you leftists don't want to see this picture no more. You know what, really? The moment I stopped wanting to see this picture was when I found out that this chick had a Black Lives Matter poster in her room. Because I feel like the fact that she had a Black Lives Matter poster in her room probably means that she's not too cool with the idea of a bunch of racists using her death to foment hatred against black people. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be cool with that. So, I don't know, maybe stop. Maybe stop doing that. Find yourself a racist victim. Someone who would have been cool with it. Then you can go to town. Okay? That seems fair, right? News. Department of Education fires nearly all staff in office for children with disabilities, union says. First comment says, I have prayed for days like these. I'm kind of wondering, why? Like, why are children with disabilities a good target to attack? I'm kind of curious about that. I'm kind of not really sure why that's fertile ground for right-wing attack. Like, finally, children with disabilities, they'll get what's coming to them. Those leftist terrorist bastards. Like, huh? What am I missing here? What did children with disabilities do? I mean, aren't children with disabilities way more likely to grow up and vote Republican? You know, Trump hates the poorly educated. He said himself, smart people don't like him. So you think these people be all for children with disabilities? That's future Republicans, right? Yeah. Members of the Texas National Guard have arrived in Illinois, according to sources familiar with their whereabouts and videotaping them. And anyway, the fucking punchline is they're all fucking fat. Every single goddamn last one of them in this picture is a fucking porker. People are calling them Meal Team 6. Meal Team 6. You gotta love it. I mean, I guess you don't have to. It's not a law or anything, but I think you should love it. I love it. I personally find that I love it. That's what I'm really saying to you here. I love it. What else is happening? Okay, Democrat congressional candidate for NC09, Richard Ojeda on Stephen Miller. I'd be willing to go to jail to kick the shit out of him. Let's hear it.
Thanks, Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller needs to be thumped. That guy's a friggin' worm. I would be willing to go to jail for, I mean, how much would I get for just tracking him a couple times? You know, I'd be willing to go to jail to kick the shit out of him. I'd be more than happy to find myself in an elevator with him, and I'd whoop his ass from the first floor to the fifth floor and be happy to go to jail. Thanks, Stephen.
Oh no. Bad Richard Ojeda. Don't say that, Richard Ojeda. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Don't do what you done, Richard Ojeda. Please don't say those sorts of things. You've made me very sad upon this day, Richard Ojeda. All right, what's this? Let me read the caption here. This is from Right Wing Cope. MAGA will try to get you fired for implying this dude is racist. This is good old Charlie Kirk. Let's see what he says.
Now, were they trying to hijack her? Were these blacks trying to go rob her? Happening all the time in urban America. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more.
Prowling blacks go around America trying to target white people. That's a fact. That's a fact. Ooh, that's a fact. You know what else is a fact? I have a book on sale. I don't think there's very many copies left. I think there's like a handful. We might put more out for sale, but I don't think there's that many more for sale, so get your copies now. Douchebag Bible for sale down below. I promoted it in a bunch of these streams. We sold most of them. I think there's a few left. If you want it, go get it. Boom. All right. I think that's enough Twitter Twitter trash for one day. Let's do something else, shall we? Let's do something completely silly and inconsequential. Let's participate in one of these tier lists that people like to do. Yeah. It seems like fun, little palate cleanser from all the politics. And for those of you who don't like this kind of thing, just click the next chapter because we'll be right back to politics in a second. But we're going to rate some foods like apples. It kind of sucks there's no F. I mean, how you go from S to D? Like you exclude the possibility that something should deserve an F? I'm not saying apples deserve an F. But goddamn. Anyway, B. Wait, can I not give it a B? Oh, I have to rate it there. I see. All right, that looks like an apple pie. That shit, not quite S tier, but it's A tier for sure. What the fuck is this? Applesauce? Oh, I love me some applesauce. Give that the same tier. What is this? Bunch of cereals? It's like a bunch of fucking cereal. A tier. Baby food. Yeah, I don't eat baby food. Bacon, that's S tier. Banana, oh my god. Trigger, there should be a trigger warning for me on this. I don't need to see this. I mean, if I'm gonna stick it up my ass, S tier. But if I gotta eat the fucking thing, I don't know. I'm not really that keen on these fucking things. I'm gonna give it a C. Heinz, what is that? Is that steak sauce? Barbecue sauce. Heinz barbecue sauce. So am I rating all barbecue sauce or am I rating specifically Heinz barbecue sauce? Whatever. I'm gonna give it a B. Ooh, a biscuit, that's A tier. Breadsticks, that's A tier. Broccoli, that's I like broccoli. I mean, I'll give it B tier. Brownie, that's S tier. Hamburgers, S tier. Burrito is S tier. Cheese is S tier. Carrots are C tier. Carrot cake is B tier. Right? I put it in B tier. Good. I don't know what the fuck that is. What is that? I'm skipping it. Celery? If you're going to eat celery straight up, I mean, it's not that good, but it's a good ingredient. I'll give it a C tier. A big mountain of cheese and bread. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like cheese, I like bread, but like that much cheese piled on some bread doesn't seem all that appetizing. I'm gonna go put that in D tier. Pizza, that's S tier. Cheetos, that's S tier. Quesadilla, that gets not my favorite thing, but I'll give it A tier. Little cheese roll up thing, that's B tier. Cheese stick, B tier. Chicken nuggets, B tier. Chicken fingers, A tier. Chicken sandwich, A tier. Chocolate milk, S tier. Chocolate in general, S tier. Chocolate cake, S tier. Chocolate chip cookies, S tier. Chocolate donuts, S tier. Cinnamon roll, S tier. Corn, B tier. Cornbread, A tier. Corn dog, A tier. Crazy bread, I don't know. I never had it. Fucking curly fries? That shit's A tier. Deep dish pizza, S tier. French fries in general, A tier. These little crappy cookies with frost on them, I don't know. I mean, they're still cookies, so B tier. Garlic bread, B tier. Garlic knots, B tier. Donuts, glazed donuts, A tier. Goldfish, B tier. Grapes, B tier. Hash browns, A tier. Honey, A tier. Honey mustard, A tier. Hot dogs, S tier. What is this crap? Hush puppies? I never liked hush puppies that much. That's D tier. Or C tier, I guess, in this list, because they fucked everything up with this S shit. Ice cream, S tier. Jello, that's D tier. Is that beef jerky? C tier. Or B tier, actually. Tomato ketchup? Yeah, that's A tier. No idea what that is. Lasagna, that's S tier. Macaroni and cheese, that's S tier. Some weird fruit I never seen before. That's skippable. What is that? Is that rye bread? What is that? I don't know what that is. Skip that. Mashed potato, that's S tier. Oh, McRib? That's not that good. Meatloaf. That's S tier in my book. Some rice dish, I don't know. Fine, it's fine, whatever. C or D or whatever the fuck I get. Milk, I love milk. I'll give it S tier. Fuck you. Mozzarella sticks, S tier. Yellow mustard, S tier. Slop. Skipping that. Onion. That's S tier. Onion rings. Not a big fan. Oranges, they can go in the middle. Orange juice, same place. Oreo, that's S tier. Pancakes, that's S tier. Peanut butter, that's S tier. Pepperoni pizza, that's S tier. Pickles, that's A tier. Pineapple, that's S tier. That's the only fruit that gets S tier. Popcorn, that's D tier bullshit. Crappy ass popsicle, that's fucking D tier bullshit. Potato chips, C tier. What are these? Pigs in a blanket. That's A tier. Pretzel, that's A tier. Pudding, that's A tier. I can't tell if that's banana bread or pumpkin bread. I'm going to skip it because I don't know. It's very different depending on which one it is. Pumpkin pie, that's S tier. Ranch dressing, that's fucking D tier dog shit. Ribs, that's A tier. It would be S tier if it wasn't so fucking messy. Ritz crackers, that's fucking, that's like C tier. Roast chicken, that's C tier. Burnt broccoli, that's C tier. Burnt vegetables, that's C tier. Biscuits, like some dinner rolls, that's A tier. Some kind of salad, that's D tier. Spaghetti, that's S tier. Sausage is S tier. Is that potato salad? That's S tier. Cookies. Those cookies don't look that good. I'm going to give them C tier. Spaghetti with no sauce. I'm skipping that. Spaghetti and meatballs, that's S tier. SpaghettiOs, that's B tier. Steak, that's A tier. Strawberry, that's A tier. Some white ass cookies. That's like C tier. Tacos, that's A tier. Toast, B tier. Tomatoes, B tier. Tomato soup, A tier. Tortillas, just by themselves? I don't know. Fucking B, I guess. Some kind of weird bread. I don't know what that kind of bread that is. Ice cream, that's still A tier. Waffle, that's B. Wait, no, I guess that was A tier. Whatever. I meant to put B, but whatever. Watermelon, that shit is, I mean, it depends. It depends on how good the watermelon is, but it's usually at least B tier. Beef Wellington, yeah, I'll give that A tier. Loaf of bread, I mean, that's versatile. That gets A tier. White rice, B tier. This thing again, fuck that. Oh, we're going back to the ones we skipped at this point. Okay. All right, crazy bread. I'm just gonna guess. It's probably fine. I don't know what that is. I'm giving this bad grades because I just don't know what the fuck they are. Is that oatmeal actually? If that's oatmeal, I'll give it B tier. I'm going to assume that this is banana bread. If this is banana bread, it's A tier. Plain pasta, whatever. I mean, I'd still eat it. I don't know what that bread is. It looks all right. I don't know what the fuck that thing is. I'm going to give it C tier. And that's it. The objective truth of all foods has now been determined. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, back to politics. Let's look at this piece from CBN News, the Christian Broadcasting Network. It says Karl Marx was obsessed with Satan, the deadly truth about socialism. Let's take a look at what's going on here.
Almost 2/3 of Americans under 30 now hold a favorable view of socialism.
Based.
Are you a young person fed up with greedy bosses?
I mean, I'm not that young. And I really don't have a boss. But Yes.
Are working more hours for less money than literally any other generation.
We believe capitalism is a deeply unjust, exploitative, and undemocratic system. And
socialism is the answer to capitalism, and it is the only answer.
I mean, I don't know if it's the only answer, but it's an answer.
The frontrunner to become the next mayor of New York City proudly calls himself a democratic socialist. And Zoran Mamdani says he wants to ban extreme wealth.
You
are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality.
Bernie Sanders and AOC have also helped to boost the popularity of Democratic socialism. They'll tell you they want to help people.
Yeah, they'll tell you that.
The principles they espouse come through a very troubled man.
Oh, shit. A very troubled man. I didn't know. Who,
according to historians, if he was not a Satanist, was obsessed with Satan.
Oh, fuck. I have a question. If Karl Marx was so obsessed with Satan, why are so many of his teachings so in line with what Christ preached? You know, stuff like how you should give all your money to the poor, and how, you know, it's easier for a rich man... easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Like, stuff like that. Seems like he was a lot more of a Jesus man to me, but okay. Satan, sure. I mean, I like Satan. Satan's cool.
Dr. Paul Kengor, editor of the American Spectator and a political science professor at Grove City College, is the author of The Devil and Karl Marx.
Oh, shit.
Kengor says Marx was also a playwright and poet. And
fuck, a playwright and poet? You guys are going to listen to some fucking literary douchebag when you could follow the words of Donald Trump instead? By the way, why this weird AI generated image here?
Writings included many references to Satan and hell.
Oh, fuck,
The
really?
Pale Maiden, 1887.
All right.
Thus heaven I've forfeited. I know it full well. My soul, once true to God, is chosen for hell.
Oh, fuck. He wrote about Satan in some work of literature, and we're now being shown what he wrote, divorced of whatever context it was written in. I'm convinced.
Now that's Marx, one of his poems.
Oh,
another
that
one,
bastard.
Karl Marx, The Player, 1841. This is the same decade when he wrote the Communist Manifesto.
Oh, wow.
See the sword, the Prince of Darkness sold it to me. For he beats the time and gives the signs. Ever more boldly I play the dance of death.
Dude, Karl Marx was a good fucking writer, dude. I would have never known that, because every time I've tried to read any of his political stuff, I'm just like, this is boring. But apparently, the entire time, I should have been reading his poetry and his plays. Because that shit kicks the fuck out of his political oratories. I guess they're not oratories because they're written, but you know what I mean.
Marx also wrote, I wish to avenge myself against the one who rules above.
That's fucking awesome. Thank you for telling me about this.
Kengor says Marx told his children stories about a toy maker who sold his soul to the devil.
Karl Marx.
So this is really fucking weird because, like, writing about, this is a fucking very strange story, because it's basically trying to say that if you wrote about the devil in literature, you must be like a Satanist, or at the very least deeply obsessed with Satan, which is very fucking strange because Satan has been used in countless works of fucking literature. Like, he's been used in songs like Devil Went Down to Georgia. Do you think that the guy who wrote Devil Went Down to Georgia was fucking obsessed with the devil? Like, as in he's infatuated in a positive way with the devil? I don't get it. So, I mean, like, how many movies have we seen Satan depicted in? How many works of literature has Satan been featured in? But because it's Karl Marx, obviously in his case, it belies a deep, powerful, and abiding love for Satan. A figure that Karl Marx almost certainly did not believe in.
His father said his son's heart was governed by a demon, and Marx was, by all accounts, a terrible husband, father, and provider who sponged off his relatives and friends.
That bastard.
So Marx the man was somebody very lazy, refused to work.
Wait, he was very lazy and refused to work? You just told me he was a poet and a playwright and a political author, whatever the fuck you'd call that. A polemicist? I don't know what you'd call that. Sounds like he was doing all kind of work. What the fuck are you talking about?
Did not take care of his family, his home, even himself.
That bastard.
Refused to bathe, smelled, had boils. And
I love this shit, man. He was a stinky boy. You know, all these people claim that they like his philosophy, but wait till I tell you this. He was a stinky man, and he was covered in boils and sores. He was nasty, and if you were in his presence, you would puke from how fucking disgusting he smelled, so we win. Like, okay, bro, cool.
Sores all over his body.
Open
Marx's
sores
Communist
all over his fucking
Manifesto
body,
calls
dude.
for the abolition
That's
of
crazy.
religion and calls the...
Well, now that you mention it, capitalism's awesome. Like, this opened with like a montage of a bunch of people being like, yeah, the economic systems that we toil under are really unfair, and, you know, we don't have any money. You know, we work hard, but we just can't get ahead. And our generation just, you know, we have no generational wealth whatsoever, and, you know, things are really bad for us. And we're thinking maybe socialism's the answer. And the refutation of that is, Karl Marx was a stinky butt. He smelled gross. And he wrote something about Satan one time in a play. So, like, okay. So? Like, even if all of that shit was true, who gives a fuck? Does that make capitalism a good economic system? No. It fucking don't.
The family unit disgusting. This year's Democratic Socialist Annual Convention in Chicago called for the abolition of the family.
Oh, look at them. And you can see that if you look at these people close, there's open sores and boils and dirt all over their wretched bodies. This place fucking stinks.
And like Marx compared marriage to prostitution. One attendee said abortion should be done in churches. Zoran
Oh my God, abortion in the churches. Kind of weird how we're told that what all these people said, but you couldn't just show us, like, you have video, clearly. So, like, couldn't you have just shown us clips of all that incendiary rhetoric you just mentioned? Seems like a natural thing to do, but I guess not.
Mamdani spoke at the group's 2023 convention.
Oh, that
Hello,
demon.
DSA members.
Hello.
It also seems as if some of those pushing democratic socialism are confused about what socialism actually is.
Oh, fuck,
when I
really?
talk about democratic socialism, I'm not looking at Venezuela. I'm not looking at Cuba.
Yeah.
I'm looking at countries like Denmark and Sweden.
Yet neither Denmark nor Sweden are socialist. Both
Oh,
rank
fuck. Got him.
higher than the United States on the Heritage Foundation's Index of Economic Freedom.
Okay, well then let's emulate those countries and have, like, big, broad social safety nets. Apparently, since okay, wait. Whenever anybody on the left, and I'm not even talking crazy radical leftists here, I'm talking anybody on even the marginal left says that we should adopt policies more like Denmark and Sweden, right-wingers are the first people to be like, that's socialism. But when we cite those countries and say, let's be more like those countries, you guys are like, those countries aren't socialist at all. Okay, well, if they're not socialist at all, then let's do what they do. Seems reasonable to me.
Both have market economies with generous welfare benefits.
Okay, so let's do generous welfare benefits then. Be an improvement over this at least.
Nations that have called themselves socialist have had the most oppressive and deadly governments in the last 100 years.
Oh, fuck, really?
Historians say the number of victims killed under socialism is more than 100 million.
How many people were killed under capitalism? I love how every single death that ever happened under socialism is a death attributed to socialism. But when people die from capitalism, it's just like, well, like, oh, yeah, well, you know, they were denied medical care because they couldn't pay for it and they died. But that's not capitalism's fault. That's their fault for not being born rich.
The late pastor Richard Wurmbrand, who was tortured and imprisoned in communist Romania, said jailers would yell, "We are the devil," as they tortured Christians.
Oh, those bastards. We are the devil. We are the devil. Give me a break.
Kengor says Christians who think socialism is good because they see it like the sharing among believers in the book of Acts are mistaken.
Yeah, tell us why.
These people have private property. They are choosing voluntarily on their own in the love of Christ to share their things to help their brother. Communism is a government by fiat and coercion who comes in and takes over an entire country.
Well, that's what a government is. Like, show me a government that isn't by fiat and coercion.
And forces everybody at gunpoint or gulag, religious or not, to hand over their stuff.
Yet the appeal of socialism seems...
Okay, well, how about this? Let's meet in the middle. We won't go that far, but we'll do a robust welfare state like Denmark and Sweden, since you're okay with those countries and, in fact, think they're pretty awesome. Seems like everybody's in agreement that we should at least do that, so let's do that, right? Right?
Stronger than ever among America's youth. Kengor says that's only because many don't understand what socialism truly is.
Okay.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Unless you think that somehow we're being...
Whoa, I wasn't prepared for you. What is that thing? I love how in a story about how all Marxists are Satanists, they have Satan appear before me to warn me of the dangers of socialism. Like, what? Do I recognize this guy?
Being overly dramatic and saying that there's a satanic birth of socialism.
Satanic birth. Okay.
That Marx was inspired.
Who is this?
Well, here's a quote for
is this,
you.
Is this Pat Robertson's boy? This Pat Robertson Jr. or some shit?
Fascinated with
Well, he certainly didn't earn his position through merit, so I got to assume that he's the son of some fucking famous pastor or something.
Writing from Goethe, he was a German poet.
Did you just... Did they just fucking write Goethe? Goethe? Okay. That's not how you spell it, but maybe you guys didn't do these closed captions.
Novelist, philosopher. He wrote this thing called Faust.
Uh-huh.
And we say Faustian bargains.
So wait a minute. Right after the segment where you lambast Karl Marx for daring to write about Satan literarily, you're going to then fucking quote from Goethe and Faust? A story that is like super famous where Satan is a major character? Okay.
That you sell your soul to the devil. And he actually claimed he had done that. But here's the quote. He quoted from this work, and he's quoting the devil. Everything that exists deserves to perish. He quoted that again and again.
I mean, isn't that just, like tacitly at least, the position of God? Because everything that exists does perish. So it seems like Satan and God are in agreement on that one.
And again, now you look at the current things that are running through our culture. There's something called critical theory that comes as an intellectual movement out of Germany, but it seems to have taken over academics here in the United States. And it's absolutely part of Black Lives Matter, that the entire system is corrupt and racist, and it has to be destroyed. When you get into the roots of this, who comes to rob and to kill and to destroy? Well, when you put it in those terms, well, it's quite obvious what's behind it.
Satan.
But when you put it in terms of we have to have some kind of racial divide, and if you're white, you're an oppressor, and if you're black, you're oppressed, and everything.
Baby's first critical race theory. You always love it. Basically, what it says is, if you white, you the oppressor. If you black, you the oppressed. Well, you guys seem to have something pretty similar to that going on here. What would you call it? Christian race theory, I guess? There's not much to do with race, so critical Christian theory, maybe? Yeah, that works. Where if you're a Christian, no matter how much power you have in society, you are a poor, oppressed little victim. And Satan's always coming for you. He's always chomping at the bit to destroy you. Using our corrupt, horrible, evil society. Isn't that kind of weird? Like, he's at the beginning of this segment saying, uh-oh, society's going to a bad place. You know, all the youth have been corrupted by Satan and they all want socialism. But then, now he's saying, oh, well, these people believe society is all corrupt and rotten. It's like, you guys believe that. You just demonstrated you believe that. You believe it in a different way, on a different topic, but you both agree it's society's corrupt and messed up. So I don't know why you're acting like that's a point of contention.
And the system is geared against you, and you deserve out of justice to tear everything down. Well, in that, you're going to end up with absolute destruction. And when you look at socialism and you look at communism over the last 100 years, it has been absolutely horrible for every country that went into that. Russia is now this sort of strange.
Here's a weird thing. Now, I do not view China as a communist country. I don't think any country can have private property and billionaires, and in fact generate more billionaires than we do, and still consider itself communist. Now, I know people on the left will disagree with me on that, but whatever. That's just my opinion. But China, ostensibly a communist country, probably would be touted as a communist country by this guy in front of us, and yet China is hugely economically prosperous. In fact, they're threatening to usurp us on the world stage at this point.
If you have influence, then you get the money. China had a brief period of capitalism that was
so he definitely does think
but it's turned into that as well. You don't get the goodies unless you've got the power.
That would describe capitalism, actually. That's capitalism.
And you look at that, and you look at the number of people that have died. How could anyone in the United States say socialism is the right way to go? Now, on the other side,
probably because they've watched people die in this country. Probably because they've seen the death toll of capitalism. Probably because they don't believe you when you say these things. Because if socialism, communism, etc. are so fucking horrible, then how come every time a country institutes these policies, the United States of America has to use its economic power to lean on those countries, to sanction those countries, to meddle in those countries' elections, to do everything in their power to sabotage those socialist countries. If socialism is so inherently self-destructive, then wouldn't the United States of America, when seeing a country adopt socialism, just lean back and go, well, now we just sit back and watch them destroy themselves? But they don't do that. They very actively take a role in, we need to stop this shit. Why do you think that is? Could it be that the United States of America is worried that if people see a socialist country succeed, they'll want to try it out too? Couldn't that be it? That seems like it's probably it to me.
This equation, we have to look at student loans, that the oppressive debt that we put our college graduates into, the corresponding inflation of prices for colleges, where it's literally out of the reach of the average person unless you take the loans. And then you look at, well, Germany and Europe doesn't have any college tuition. The state provides all of that. Well, now suddenly socialism gets very appealing.
Yeah.
And we as a nation ran into that after World War II with the extraordinary poverty.
So wait a minute. You're saying that greed and exploitation lead people to want socialism? Yeah, that's right. When people are taken advantage of and financially exploited and then forced to take out predatory loans in order to afford college, yeah, they're going to be more amenable to a system that doesn't do that. No shit. So what's your solution? Are you actually going to come out here in favor of student loan forgiveness? In favor of ending these predatory practices? Let's see.
Europe was suffering in. Communism, socialism is very appealing to people that don't have hope, that can't see a way
Are you just
to
going to
get
pivot
out of
to
debt, can't
empty
see a
rhetoric?
way to put food on the table.
Okay, yeah.
It becomes very appealing to say, well, give the power.
Yeah, no shit. People who have been economically exploited would prefer a system that doesn't do that. What's your solution?
Power to us, and we'll give all that to you. So where is our compassion for those who are in debt? Where is our compassion for the poor? That needs to be front and center.
No, they don't need your compassion. They don't need your compassion. They need alleviation. They need alleviation of that debt. They need you to end the system of exploitation. And if you don't want to use socialism to do it, you better come up with something else that's going to do it. Because compassion, that don't buy food. Compassion doesn't help anybody. I mean, it might feel nice to have someone be compassionate towards your plight, but if they're not going to do anything substantive to alleviate it, at a certain point, compassion is about fucking as useful as, I was going to say toilet paper, but toilet paper is useful.
Center now, because if we go down the road of socialism, watch out.
Watch out.
They come.
Man, these right-wingers, my entire life they've been saying this shit. My entire fucking life I've heard these right-wingers saying this same ass bullshit about how we better watch out. The country's going to fall to socialism any day now. And meanwhile, we live in more and more of a capitalist fucking dystopian nightmare with each successive fucking presidency that goes by. Democrats, Republicans, the system just keeps getting more and more exploitative. Things get more and more expensive. The quality of life goes down and down and down. And we're always being warned, uh-oh, don't go socialist, though. Don't go socialist, though. It's like, hey, that's the only thing we haven't fucking tried.
And they take everything. And they literally do destroy everything and say we have to rebuild some socialist utopia, and you're now a counter-revolutionary. We're going to put you in jail. We're going to put you in the gulag. We're going to have re-education through forced labor. All of those things have happened. We can't have that happen here.
Okay, well, how about this? Let's just end the exploitation, fix the bad economic system, and we'll skip all that. We just won't do that part. We won't do the gulags. We won't do the you're going to jail for being a counter-revolutionary. We won't do all that stuff. We'll just do the economic fairness stuff. How's that for a compromise? Huh? You like that, buddy? Can we do that? Can we try that out?
So be aware of the root of it. And anytime you hear somebody say the whole system has to be torn down, recognize the source of that.
The source of that is the system fucking that person in the ass for their entire life. I mean, what a fucking dipshit sentiment. He admits that people who have been economically exploited for their entire lives want socialism because they don't want to be economically exploited anymore, but he offers no solutions for how to end their economic exploitation. He just tells them, no, don't reach out for the one thing that could help you because it's actually a lot worse than what you're going through now if you think about it. According to me, some untrustworthy fucking cajillionaire peddling Christian propaganda on CBN. I don't know about that, bud. You know, you were almost there. Maybe in a few more generations, these things will become self-aware, and then we won't have to listen to their nonsense anymore because they'll actually come to some sort of reasonable position. But I'm not holding my breath. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in to hear what I have to say about various things. I appreciate each and every one of you. Good night. Good luck. Have fun out there.